Europe can no longer and completely depend on the US and UK following the election of President Trump and Brexit, German Chancellor Angela Merkel says. Mrs. Merkel said she wanted friendly relations with both countries as well as Russia, but Europe now had to fight for its own destiny. It follows the G7 and APO's failure to commit to the 2015 Paris climate deal. Talks Mrs. Merkel said were very difficult. President Trump has said he will make a decision in the coming week. The times in which we could completely depend on others are on the way out. We experienced it in the last few days. Mrs. Merkel told a crowd at an election rally in Munich, southern Germany. The BBC and APO's Damian McGuinness, in Berlin, says the comments are a sign of growing assertiveness within the EU. The relationship between Berlin and new French President Emmanuel Macron had to be a priority, Mrs. Merkel said. Earlier the German leader had described the 6-0 discussion about the Paris Accord during the G7 summit in Sicily as very difficult, not to say very unsatisfactory. Mr. Trump said he would abandon the Paris deal, the WORLD and APO's first comprehensive climate agreement requiring countries to cut carbon emission, during his election campaign, and has also expressed doubts about climate change. Speaking in Brussels last week, Mr. Trump also told NATO members to spend more money on defense and did not restate his and APO's commitment to NATO and APO's mutual security guarantees. BBC Defense and diplomatic correspondent Jonathan Marcus says the mere fact that this is even in question shows just how uneasy the relationship is between Mr. Trump and the organization of which his country is the leading member. While in Belgium, Mr. Trump also reportedly described German trade practices as bad, very bad, complaining that Europe and APO's largest economy sells too many cars to the US. The US president has described his visit to Europe as of great success for America with big results. Polls in Germany say Mrs. Merkel is on course to be re-elected for a fourth term as German chancellor at elections in September.